What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple of months since we did the last video and I apologize for it taking so long. I have been hard at work here on the house in the living area getting it ready, and so I have not had much free time to work on Elizabeth. However, for once in this build we've got a deadline, and that deadline is Hot Rod Power Tour. So if you're not familiar with what Power Tour is, it is basically a giant car show slash cruise that happens every year. It's roughly 1,300-ish miles. And this year we are signed up and we're taking Elizabeth here. That is happening in June. So we still have, thankfully, a fair bit of time, but it's going to serve as some motivation to get some more work done on this thing. And so I'm very excited for that. So we've got a lot to do. I finally have some tubing, and that's what we're going to be working on now. We've got some time tonight, or I made some time, so we're going to have some fun working on it. And so yeah, I'll show you what I've got. All right, so we have some 1.25" round tubing, and I borrowed a Rogue Fab tubing bender from a friend. Unfortunately, it's not mine, but right now I can't afford one, so this is the next best thing. So we've got that, and what we are doing with this, I mentioned in the last video that we are going to run some tubing starting there, running it all along here, and connecting it down to the frame. And what that is going to do is, the main thing is provide a support for the front fenders. I have some mounts already made for the front, however, they are not strong enough, so hopefully this tubing will make that a lot stronger. The other thing, what it will do is we are going to be tying it into the hood hinges that you saw we got tacked in place in the last video, even though we lost the footage. So it's going to be connecting into there. And then what we also may do, and I still have to figure this out, is run a tube from this side tube to the other side and provide a place to do some arrow catches, I think, some hood latches in the front. So I have not bent tube before, so I guess I will take you along for the journey on that. You can see me struggle through this. So I'm going to start getting some tubing in here, and we're going to see if we can do some bending. It is nothing complicated at all, so hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. We'll see. We'll find out. Alright, so I think where we're going to start, the tube is going to run we're going to start it somewhere roughly in there, and then it's going to run right along here. Then we're going to do a gradual bend that goes down and then meets the frame there. And then I'll still have to figure out what tabs I want to use then that'll fasten to the bar that I can bolt the fender to. But what I might do is have it fasten straight in like that, and then put a slight bend in here so that then it starts following the curve of the fender. Alright, we're back. It's the next day. I got a little bit of bending done last night. I ran into a little bit of an issue with the bender where it was out of hydraulic fluid, so we added some and it started working again. So I got the first bar, at least some of the bend done. I put a bend right there, that way it comes straight out there, follows along the fender, and then get it positioned here. Kind of bend it multiple times, that way we get a nice gradual bend there and to meet with the fender. And so I've just been slowly figuring it out, just working slowly so I don't hopefully make any mistakes, because I don't really have any extra tube to spare. So what I'm thinking of doing now is one of the mounts that I have supporting the fender is bolted right there, but it is interfering with the tube. So I may unbolt that. I might even cut off this little section of the fender here that sticks out. That way the tube can sit in against there, and then it's going to be running down. We have to do some more bends because I want it to end right there on the frame. So back to bending. Stick some paper towels in there, that way we don't get junk up at the intake. Alright, I think that might have worked okay. So we just cut some slits in here and then just hammered it in. Now it's nice and flush. I'll trim this a little more than probably weld it back together. So now we have a nice flat mounting spot here. Alright, I am still working on this tubing. It's about 2 days later. Haven't had a lot of time. So, this tube I had mostly bent, and then I kind of had some issues bending from here down to the frame where I wanted it to meet, just due to a lack of not knowing what I'm doing. So, I had some issues with overbent the tube, so I finally couldn't seem to fix it, so I just cut it off right there. So now I'm simply going to bend another piece that goes from there down to the frame. If it was an actual roll cage, I would not do that. I would just remake the complete piece, but seeing as how it's basically just a fender support, I'm not too worried. So I've kind of got it in place here where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and tack it here. And then I also got these off of Amazon, and they are called trick tabs. They're these little tabs that have 1/4 by 20 like thread inserts already built into them, and then they're designed to go on a round tube like that, and then you can just weld them in place. So I got a pack of 10 of those off of Amazon, and what I'm doing with them going to be hard to see, but I have them ran all along the fender here, and then I'm going to, then I have 1/4-inch bolts running through the fender into those, so then I'll just go ahead and tack the tabs to the tube. That way this tube will stay in place, and I know it's not going to go anywhere, and then I'll work on trying to bend the tube that goes down to here. So it's definitely a learning curve on the tubing bender, and I'll be honest, I just don't overly know what I'm doing. I haven't had enough practice with one, so hopefully we can muddle our ways through it. Yep. All right, we're finally getting somewhere. I finally got this tube finished up, rebent this piece, got it tacked into place, both here at the bottom, and then also at the top, and the tabs that run along the fender as well. So one of the next things I'll do is pull the fender off. I'll fully weld the tabs that are on there. Either that or break my tacks loose at each end and pull the bar up. Not sure which way. So got that side done, and I also got this side all tacked in place as well. Thankfully this one cooperated a little better, had slightly more of an idea what I'm doing. So got that tacked there, got it ran up here, and then this tube also wasn't quite long enough, so I had to tack another piece in right there. But I got that done, and the tabs tacked in place as well. So I am quite happy with that. That took me a while, learning experience. So like I said, fully weld these tubes. All right, so I got this fender pulled off. So you guys could see kind of how things fit together. So I went through and I've got a little bit of welding to do here yet. Got the tabs fully welded and got a little bit of welding to do there yet. And then we'll still have to make some reinforcements for the hood hinges on both sides. I haven't quite figured out how I want to do that, if I want to run a tube from the back over to here, or if I'll have enough room to run something from here over to here. So still have to figure that out. And then also, get this out of the way, making some mounts of some sorts for the inner fenders here. They're just loose and it's holding quite a bit of stuff, so we'll probably make some kind of mounts to hold those off of the bar. Yeah, it's coming along. A little bit of more welding to do, then we'll do the same thing on that fender. Alright, so I have not yet welded the tabs on this side. However, I got in a couple of new parts here, so I'm going to show you what I got, and we're going to get them bolted on. So, the intake here, due to how the fender and everything is, the stock air box does not fit anymore, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would just run that. Obviously, performance is not really the key here, so I'd have been completely fine with that, but it didn't fit. So what I got, I picked up a, get it here, a adapter. It was off of eBay. It was less than 20 bucks, and it comes with a rubber gasket as well. And it is simply a Ford called a MAF adapter, and it simply bolts in just like that, and then it comes with the hardware for it. And then I picked up a universal 3.5-inch K&N cone filter, and then that simply goes, it has a couple different size adapters depending on what size you need, but anyway, it simply fits over just like that. So I'm going to get this bolted on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So we got it all bolted in place here. If you can see. Really simple, nothing complicated at all. What I might do, if I have extra time, is build kind of a shield around here. Who knows, we'll see. If nothing else, at least now it's got a filter on it, so while it's sitting around the garage, it won't get dirt in there. So I may fire it up. Can you tell any difference in sound? Probably not, but we'll do it anyway. Well, unfortunately, it's too dead to start, so I'll get a jump pack and then we'll try it again. All right, I am working on the support tubes for the hood hinges. I ended up unbolting the hood from the hinges just so I could see where I have clearance in order to run some tubes. So what I'm going to do now is, I think the best place to put a first tube is, because this is pretty floppy there, is I'm going to run a tube from there directly to here. And so I dug out a tool that I have not used in years, and that is my tubing notcher. It is from Eastwood. Had to scrounge around to find some hole saws. So, like I said, it's been a couple years since I've used it, so we'll see if we can remember how. I've got my tube marked here where I want it notched, so we'll go ahead and do this and see if things actually line up. Probably not. We'll see. Alright, we might actually have gotten lucky on this one. So I did some cleanup on the tube. Got it cleaned up. So now, and I did it at, maybe you can't tell, a little bit of an angle as well due to the way the pipe or the tube goes. Let's see, alright, the other way. Alright, just like that. That actually fits really well. If I wanted to, I could TIG weld this, but I'll probably just MIG it. So, nice. It's nice to get lucky sometimes. Alright, I'm just going to leave it tacked for now until I make sure that everything does actually clear, that the hood clears. Yeah. So I'll move over to the other side and figure out where we want to put that. You can still see this is just mounted to sheet metal here, so it does still move some. So probably what I'll do is run a tube from somewhere in here over to here as well, and then that should make it pretty decent. So, all right, so on this side we have to do things a little bit differently because we have the heater box here, so we don't have as much clearance. So what I'm going to do in the back, there's really not enough room to run a tube from here to here due to when the hinge is shut. It's too tight there. So I think what I'm going to start by doing is I made a cardboard template here that I'm going to put right in there, and then I can weld it along the back side, hopefully some on the front, and then along here, and then maybe on the outside here, and then also to the tube. I've got some nice, I think it's probably 1/4 inch, 3/16 or 1/4 inch plate here, so we'll cut it out of there, and then get that tacked into place.
gonna get my welding jacket on because it's not a lot of fun to get covered in sparks.
All right, we got it rough cut out. I also did a little slit here because we have to bend it in order to match the bend on the sheet metal. So I'll go ahead and stick it in the vise here and we'll get it bent. See if we can bend it the right way. Then we'll just weld it back shut. All right, so I finally got a tube made for this side hinge. This one was a little bit tricky just because there's a lot less clearance. And so we have it going up to the hinge there, and clearance is tight. It just clears the hinge there, and then just clears there as well. Had to do some trimming. One thing I am fighting a little bit is the back of the hinge. You can see how it's tilted up, and it needs to go down a little bit because the hood in the back here still sits a little bit high. So I still need to try to take a little bit off the hinge and hopefully bring it down a little bit to even that out. So yeah, pretty good progress. That is going to be it for this video, just because it's been way too long since I've got a video out for you guys. So as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.